Hello, today we're going to look at the equation for an ellipse and how to go ahead and locate the vertices, the foci, the transverse and conjugate axis, and how to graph it. So let's take a look at this equation here. X plus 3 squared over 8 plus y minus 1 squared over 12 equals 1. So the first thing to notice is that between these two squared terms, we have a plus. That puts it in the category of ellipse rather than hyperbola. And the next thing to note is that we have a difference in the two denominators. And so that puts it in the category of ellipse rather than circle. And while we're at it, let's note that we have both of the terms are squared, which means it is definitely an ellipse, not a parabola. Okay, now, the next thing to note is that in an ellipse, A squared is always considered the larger of the two numbers. So I note that my larger numbers under my y squared terms. When I write my parent equation for reference, I'm going to write it like this. And you'll notice that I put my a squared term under my y squared term the same way that 12, my larger number, is under my y squared term. Okay, now I'm going to make my list of things. So 3 is my minus h. So my h is minus 3, right? X minus a minus 3 gets me my x plus 3 here. And then similarly, my y minus 1, y minus k, that means my k is 1. And I'm going to go ahead and plot that. And so that right there is the center of my ellipse. Now, I'm going to fill in my a squared and b squared, and then I'm going to find my a and b. And I always write it like this so that I don't ever get confused and think that 12 is my a. 12 is my a squared, which makes my a root 12 and my b root 8. And I'm going to simplify those to 2 root 3 and 2 root 2. And if you've forgotten how to do that, then go ahead after this video and watch one of my videos on simplifying radical expressions. And then finally, I'm going to write down my Pythagorean relationship for ellipses, which is a squared minus b squared equals c squared. And so that means my c squared is, and my c is plus or minus 2. I'm going to now take that and translate all of that into my graph. So my a is underneath my y, so I know I am going up and down from my center to root 3, which is approximately 3.5. So from my center, I'm going to go up and down 3.5, and I'm going to write those points down so that I don't forget those. So that's over negative 3, and then up 1 plus 2 root 3, and down 1 minus 2 root 3. And now I'm going to do it for my other two vertices. So from my center, minus 3 up 1, I am going to go left and right 2 root 2, which is approximately 2.8. And so my other set of vertices is found at negative 3 minus 2 root 2 and negative 3 plus 2 root 2, and both of them comma 1 because we haven't changed. Now I'm going to sketch my ellipse, and I'm also going to put in my transverse axis, which is the one that our foci are on, and it is the one that A is under. And now I'm going to find my foci. They are located C distance up and down from center. So here's my center. So one foci will be here, and the other will be here. And I can name those points also. So they're found at over negative 3 up 3 and over negative 3 down 1 by going a distance of 2 up and 2 down, and that's my 2 from the center. And finally, the axis that connects my second pair of vertices that is perpendicular to my transverse axis is called the conjugate axis.